What's up, homies? This is Cat from the Monkey Making Misplaced channel, and today we'll be showing off the Eugene deck profile. A deck all the way from set 1, and even with mountains of support, it's still not a good deck, gonna be real honest with you. But it's fun, you know, it does stuff and things, and some of the rear guards he does have are pretty insane. And you're allowed to play like generic-y, staple-y cards like Meteor Dragon and like the Cycler and stuff. So it's got a lot of good support around him. It's just Eugene himself could really use an upgrade. But we'll talk about that more in a second. Starting with the railing, of course we have this guy, Bart, as our starter. You can use any starter, but I just like keeping it pure. We got Roderick here. If your opponent has no rear guards, when he gets rolled upon, you get to draw a card. Doesn't really happen. Your opponent will typically call a rear guard as a booster just to like not proc the draw, and then you can retire a rested rear guard while he's in your soul to call him out, and he gets +5. So, you know, with Eugene's skill, if you don't know, he has to rest a rear guard to retire a rear guard. This allows you to still have a body on board. That's pretty cool. We got Randor, who when he's rolled upon, you get to choose a card from your drop, put into your soul, and draw a card. Pretty good. Just lets you fill your soul. His second effect doesn't really matter because we don't play anymore in the main deck. But of course, we have the boy. We got Eugene. So let's just read this card real quick. Once per turn, you can rest 2 of your own rear guards to choose one of your opponent's rear guards are retired, and he gets +10. So he gives himself a huge buff, but at the detriment of resting your own rear guard. So it doesn't sound really good, but as you saw, he can call himself out, and we do have a unit that will pick himself back up, so it's not too bad. They did get the support around that. And then once per turn, if your opponent's rear guard was retired this turn, you can Soul Blast 5 cards. Look at the same number of cards on the top of your deck as the number of your opponent's open rear guards. Choose any number of units. Among them, you can call them to rear, put the rest into your soul. You might get that off once before you die, but, you know, it's cool. It'll allow you to fill your board. The amount of times you call PGs is astronomically high, but it's a pretty cool skill. If you just have nothing on your board, this will fill it for you. But as you can see, it's not a great skill. It wasn't even good when it first came out all the way in set 1. So hopefully BUSHI, they're showing us that they're giving us more support in Divine Z. It wasn't great either, I'm gonna be honest with you. But maybe there's, you know, hope for Eugene in the future. You know, what is it? Draconic Overlord is power, Eugene is potential. And then, of course, going to the grade 3s, we have 3 more of the boy for Persona Ride, along with Chalice. Persona Ride is very important. It gives you numbers, it gives you a draw. So why wouldn't you max out on it? And then we play 3 copies of Theros. He's pretty cool. For a discard, he allows you to search for any order as long as it's not a Regalis piece. Best harvest. And then, you know, while he's rested, as long as your opponent's rear guard got retired, you can Soul Blast 1 and stand him. So it becomes a 13k booster. Not bad, right? Again, it works with Eugene's skill, the resting mechanic, and it lets you to search an order. So it thins your deck out. Pretty decent card. We just can't be very picky when we're playing Eugene. And 2 Best Harvest. Surprisingly, it's not a Gandiva card. Originally belonged to Eugene. But Gandiva could just use it better. We all know what this does. It's searchable, which is why we only play the 2. We don't want to clog up our hand with too many. It's just a really good card. Probably the best card in the Eugene deck, Dustin. Just gonna read this real quick. It's when the unit is placed on rear. If your vanguard is Eugene, you can put a card from your hand to your soul, draw a card, choose an opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards and retired, and then when he attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 to give him +2 for the amount of open rear guards your opponent has. So you can give himself +10, pretty good 20k attacker. It allows you to retire, which is very important in this deck. You want to retire your opponent's rear guards as much as possible, and it just fills your soul up for the Soul Blast 5. It gets pretty big. I would always max out on this until we get other cards. And like I said, we do play generic cards in here, such as the Cycler, just Soul Blast to draw when you pitch it for the right deck, and on Persona Red, you can retire a column. So it works very well with the Eugene deck. It retires, draws cards, not much more you can ask for. An expensive card, but kind of necessary. Meteor Dragon. It removes the continuous abilities of your opponent's rear guards, so it can stop like obscure dates and stuff like that, so you can still kill them. That's why I think he's pretty necessary in this list. Eugene can use all the help he can get. If you don't have him, don't worry. You can just, you know, put in other cards. You can put in more, because Eugene has a mountain of support, so you can just pick anything you want to replace it. Heat Stamp Dragon. Just a little common we have here. When your Vanguard attacks, you could put him into your soul to give your Vanguard plus 10. So if you proc Eugene's skill and this guy's skill without Persona Ride, Eugene's a 33k attacker by himself, 43 on a Persona Ride turn. Really strong. Actually makes Eugene somewhat formidable. And it also provides soul, which is very neat. I actually didn't know about this card. Leo's the one who showed me. And it's been working pretty decent in playtesting. We have a really busted card here, Clifton. He allows you, after he boosts, he retires himself, to put any number 1 to 3 cards from your soul into your deck. And it doesn't specify not triggers. You can put triggers in there. So if you didn't countercharge, it's turn to countercharge. Such a busted countercharger. Being able to just throw back crits back into your deck and you get the countercharge is insane. But it's the fact that he belongs to Eugene is what lowers the ceiling for this guy. I don't max out on it just because the soul is never really too big, plus he retires himself. If he had thrown himself into soul, I probably wouldn't max out on it. But I think 3 is just a really good number. You can always play around with the ratios. It's whatever you like. We have the Restander. His name is Oswald. So after your Eugene attacks and he boosted, if your opponent's Vanguard is greater or greater, and they have no rear guards, you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your Vanguards, Eugene. Stand it, increase or decrease its drive and crit to 1. So you can't stack crits on Eugene, sadly. They did limit this card quite harshly, I think. There was a Triceratopsy card, I don't remember its name, that we used to play, but it's very counterproductive with this card. I don't know why they did that. They were fearing the potential of Eugene to be tier 0. They've just been holding him back all this time. But it's just a Restander, so I would always max out on it. And then moving on to the PGs, of course, the Blitz and 3 regular ones. Not much to say. Moving on to the triggers, I played 3 effect draws, decent shield, and allows you to see more pieces out of your deck. You can switch these for fronts if you'd like, but you really want to see pieces. I would even max out 4, but I always want the crit potential, just to hopefully kill my opponents as fast as possible, because you do not want the grind game with Eugene. We play 4 effect crits. As I always say, I don't recommend people getting these, but Eugene does need the soul. This provides it, gives a little boost, so it's actually really good in this deck. 4 vanilla crit, self-explanatory. I play 4 regular heals. You can always switch out 2 for your locals, but I really like the 15k shield. It's just consistent, and it's just what I prefer. And of course, Dragon Empire OT allows you to restand your Eugene for more drive checks, hopefully more crits. But yeah, you can always switch this out for the blue OT, red OT, whatever you like. But yeah, that is the deck profile. Eugene, hopefully, Busher will give him some love. Let us know what you think in the description. I'm not a master of Eugene, I'll say it right now. I don't have a lot of time practicing with it. So if I missed a card or if there's a combo that I don't know of, feel free to put it down there. But thank you, I'll see you in the next one.